So this is about, I think I spent about an hour, maybe an hour and a half on it later. And I didn't intend for it to be this, for this time. But there was something about the way that the beard was lifting that it almost needed I just couldn't have the shadow and nothing else. So I'm not trying to do any more to that other than a few lines in the right direction. It's got a texture to it anyway, and it just creates this lighter version of it. There was a point where, as soon as the background went on, and it's still a little bit, the balance is not quite right. The density of the background determines the density of everything else. So there has to be relative densities between. This is the balance thing. So that was the biggest thing that happened when I kind of knew I was going to put a background on it anyway. So it became about finding that balance. There's still a little bit of imbalance. So the density there, for instance, needs to be slightly darker, as it does within the ear. Maybe the orange becomes more pink, and just to stop it from, the imbalance from being exaggerated by the fact that there's an orange, heavy orange in there. So that kind of alleviates that problem. But I think overall it's working. This needs to be resolved down here, and then a little bit in the, this bit here. There's not so many highlights in that, so that needs to be resolved as it does the way it moves on there. Although it's okay there. There should be some yellow that brings into there, but yeah, it's. I think it's just about there. Like I say, the balance of it is a little off because of I've got this thing about everything belongs to everything. So, and I'm down to the stumps now with the ones that matter. The colours that matter. So it's a bit difficult now. I mean, it's always difficult with these things, but it's difficult now because I'm doing it with thin air. It's a bit like when there's not much fuel left in the tank and you're running on fumes. It's kind of like that when you've got those dog ends of the pastels that you're trying to work with. So there's one or two things that I think need to be resolved around the eye. They're looking a little bit drawn. I know people don't mind that, but for me, I'm not really a fan of it looking too smooth, if that's the right word. When it's like sort of smooth is probably the right way to describe it. I'll try and get rid of that. I don't know where that's come from, but that shouldn't be there. But it looks like it's staying. It wants to stay. I don't want to go. Yeah, that's okay. You kind of get that. It's just one of those things with working with these. You're going to, there's going to be stuff that you can't rectify. Yeah, but as I said, that kind of looks a bit too simplified. Not so. I prefer it to be more like this one. This kind of thing. There, but this is going to be smooth on that one. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I think the main thing is get some yellow into here, or some of the lemon yellow that I was trying to apply to it, but it wasn't having it because it's just there's that much of the white on there now. It's very difficult to have any kind of impact on the tone of things. But I think there's a little bit of it going on there. It's not too bad. I think it's definitely one of those, the medium is one of those. It compromises is the thing. So this kind of thing here around here, I'm thinking that, you know, I could easily get sucked into the fine lines of things. And I think that's probably the worst thing you can do with this. It's better to just almost indicate the masses, you know, the mass areas of tone, and let those be there's some kind of indication of a, you know, of a fine hair or whatever there, but not getting locked into the you know, or too uptight about the fact that it's not quite, you know, it's not quite enough hairs in there or whatever. There's going to have to be some reduction is the word I'm looking for, not simplification. The grey became a constant, if I can find it, for this, you know, to sort of make the blacks work. The grey became the same as it did with the hair on the lady. It became a kind of a blending come base, as did the you know, that yellow ochre, whatever that was. I probably call it a clay, but it's definitely leans towards the yellow. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's one of those things where you sorry, I'm looking for these. Here we go. You get to a point where it is all about as I said earlier, when I saw this guy using these, it was all about the sort of the tapping off or tapping on of the colours, as opposed to trying to be accurate with them, and the you know, fighting with the fact that it's not accurate. You know, you hit it with one, what you think with the point of it, but it actually hits somewhere else. So he's sort of fighting with that bit. And then the other thing is you know, letting the medium, in a way, sorry, I'm going to try and find letting the medium just do its thing. You know, it's sort of, if it's going to be a bit blobby, then you're going to sort of let it do that, and that's I think that's part and parcel of working with these, for me anyway. I know people use them properly and they make, you know, really great realistic stuff, but you know, it's realistic for me in the sense that it feels real, but I'm not trying to make a replica of anything. So it's, you know, I'm quite happy to let the medium just make blobs or whatever. Not really trying to it's all right, I have to work up to this edge a bit of yeah, I'm not really trying to make an accurate copy of it. It looks like him, as you can see, it looks like him, but not really trying. I've upped the contrast of things, and I'm not it's funny, but it looks green on there, but it's not, it's actually blue. So I've got it pretty much as it should be, but that, as I said, it's not really the goal of it. It wasn't really about making a copy of a photograph, and I was a bit worried about putting the, you know, the T-shirt on it. I wanted to, you know, to keep that less like this one. It's more of a, you know, sort of a loose thing, a floating head, if you like. But yeah, I think it's worked out all right. There's still bits and bobs I'm going to keep refining, I think. But I'm on the you know, the end of all the colours, so or the colours I need. So I'm struggling a little bit to get any kind of you know, to get it to be a more I'm going to say realistic, but I don't mean realistic, but like to feel real. I'm struggling with that because of the. But that was the density thing. I should have really filmed it when it hit that. The point of the background suddenly throwing the foreground image into a complete tonal imbalance. One of the things that I talk about the tonal balance all the time, and it's so apparent, and I think people get panic when that happens, and suddenly things don't look right, and they don't know why it doesn't look right, and it's normally just because of the imbalance of things. And the problem is with that, you're tempted to make everything dark, and make it all the same density. It's just an imbalance. That's all. It's not. It doesn't mean to say that everything suddenly has to be as dark as everything else. You have to use the same density scale, if you like. The same. It's not. It's not like a value scale thing. It's a case of if if there's something dark on the here, for instance, and it's going to set the standard or set the level by the background, then there has to be that relation between those two. You know what I mean? You can't just suddenly be a lot lighter on there, because it'll just throw everything out. And what will happen is that the background will become the dominant factor, and that's not really what you're after. It's sort of, you need it to be, as I say, imbalanced with each other, tonally. So you kind of set. This is why you don't set the density early on, because you throw out everything right from the get-go, and you're fighting right from the beginning, because I know you're bringing everything up all at once. You know what I mean? So it's better just to wait to a point where it looks like you're ready to increase the darker areas, like hair, for instance, leaving the hair to the last minute, or to a point where you've got things nailed down. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to do that than try and build it up to it, because what will happen is you'll create the hair, and it's a bit like drawing the eye in detail and then having to bring everything up to that detail when really didn't really need to be that detail. You could have as I do, just taken it to a certain level, and it would have effectively represented the face and caught the essence. But yeah, so as I say, you kind of have to manage the way that you apply the tones, which is kind of I was thinking about this because I'm trying to put together a strategy for more people to see what I do, and it's this really questioning type of approach. It's sort of, you don't have to do it this way. You don't have to do it the way they say. You don't have to do it. You can do it any way you like. But it's kind of a common sense based approach to it. It's all well, if things are darker, if the whole image has to relate, then obviously all the tones are going to have to be in the same scale. So if that's dark, that has to be dark, and it's sort of basic stuff. But people will have you going through phases and stages and all that sort of thing, and it gets overly complicated. And I said before, complication is the enemy. It's the enemy for me. I'm really not a fan of complication. I think that's mainly old age. As old age comes, you kind of get, I've said before with technology. Because my problem with technology is that I used to write software. So anything that's not good enough, anything that seems a stupid thing, I wouldn't have written it like that. So putting buttons in the wrong place, or just overcomplication in any kind of app, and it just I'm even more infuriated by it, both because of my age and because I could have done it a lot better back in the day and wouldn't have not have allowed it to be so bad. But we kind of, if you've never done it, you don't know there could be a better way to do it. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of people now who use software haven't got a clue really about how it should be done, because they're kind of accepting its problems. Anyway, I'm done now. So I just wanted to just kind of show you where it ended up. There's a little bit of this. This is annoying me underneath there. It's definitely too prominent just there. Just, you know, it's kind of a dark, just a dark shadowy line rather than a definite line. So I've got this is a new white that I'm kind of breaking in. When I was using the smaller one, you know, the little piece of white, it was better because it got warm quickly in my hands. And when it's those are the sticky ones. Those are the sticky pastels. So it's imperative that let me get that off there. I can see there's a little bit of blue on there that's going to just, you see what I mean? It's just going to make it really dark unless I get it all off. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be difficult to apply it because it's cold. So when it's tiny, I mean, I'm tempted just to break it up and then use it smaller. Anyway, as I say, I'm more or less done. I wanted to just show you how it's sort of worked out. Yeah, and as I said, the ochre, grey, yellow thing has become quite a. It's become the the lady was the grey. This has become the one I've just used. Has become the dominant blender type colour that just underlies things and just affects the tone of things. A lot of it is on there. Right. As I said, I just wanted to get back on and show you where it ended up. Probably going to stick the two together. So rather than it being two separate videos, but yeah, it's a drawing. I mean, I think personally, I'd have preferred it if it didn't have the T-shirt on it. It's just because it implies that it is a copy of a photograph, and therefore, you know, not you expect it to be a copy of a photograph. It's not, you know, it's not really. That was never the intention. So, and it never is to make a copy of a photograph. So, it's kind of throwing that into the mix, and people's assessments change. You know, their response to something changes when it has an expectation based on the you know, the interpretation of something. Oh, it's a copy of a photograph, therefore it must be this. So, but yeah, I've done it anyway. So it's not. I can't know much about it now. I certainly can't take it off. So I think I'll probably evolve it a little better. I think that's probably what will happen. So I'm not going to touch this. I think it's fine. It's got the, you know, it's got the highlight on it. But I certainly think that maybe the eye would be something worth focusing on to get rid of those, the drawnness, the shaping that appears, because I see it when people paint, and I don't like it. I like it to be not look like it's undulated. The nose has got to change as well. You've got a little bit of a bit too got a bit pinky there, but we'll take some of that out. Yeah, and then I said it'll probably be, this might get a bit more attention down here, and then maybe the neckerchief, but yeah. Okay, right. I'll catch you tomorrow now. It's late on now. I've got to do things. I've got things to do, so I'll catch you tomorrow.